If you are in digital marketing and if you deal with AdTech or at least familiar with it, you must have heard about this new thing, this new open standard protocol called AdCP, which stands for Ad Context Protocol. And it's making a lot of noise right now. But what exactly is this AdCP and how important or complex this whole new open protocol that everyone is working on right now? Is it even relevant? Will it work? Will it scale? These kind of questions. Let's try to deep dive into those. And I'll try to keep everything very simple so that everyone, even if you are not from AdTech world, AD, not ED, AdTech world, you can also understand what exactly is going on and what you can expect in the future if it goes through. So here's the promise by AdCP. It'll help you plan, buy, and optimize campaigns automatically using AI. It's as simple as that in layman. And the reason it's important is because we have multiple stacks, multiple ad stacks, tech stacks, and now AI stacks which are in play. On one side, we have Gemini, we have OpenAI, ChatGPT, we have Claude, and all those LLMs. Then we have all the tools sitting on top of it who are orchestrating everything. Then we have the ad side of the system, which is the DSPs, SSPs, ad exchanges, ad networks, and things like that. And when we try to combine all of these together, we try to find a unified ecosystem, we have to move through a lot of different systems, different APIs, and usually they don't talk to each other. So we need to find a middle ground. And this AdCP is trying to be that middle ground, that the protocol which let them talk to each other. The AI agents, the orchestration, the supply side, demand side, the ad inventory, the exchanges, the tracking, everything. And if we go down a little deeper, a little more technical, it runs on 3 layers. One is your business, second is orchestration, the third is the technical execution of everything. And because these are layered, the top layer, which is the business principles, it's all about your buy side, the advertisers, agencies, the curators, retail media networks, and other similar players. Then we have the sell side, which is your publishers, sales houses, SSPs, ad networks, and again, players similar to these. And the role of this particular layer is very simple. It will handle the commercial logic, which will who pays whom for the impressions. Is it the buyer, the supplier, the ad networks? Where is it going? The money, the impressions, if they are getting delivered or not. That's the role of this top layer. And the second layer is orchestration, which is like the brain of this whole ecosystem, because it will decide on what to do, when to do, and who to call in. Like examples, the data, the signal, the agents, what's coming, what's going out, the sales agents, they should be talking to each other, and this layer, it decides that. So basically it uses the MCP, the model context protocol, and agent to agent communication protocol, so that the AI agents, they can talk to each other. So they have the common language, so that the context is getting passed from one agent to another seamlessly. And finally, at the bottom, we have the technical execution, because this one handles the deliveries. It will handle everything that's needed to make the campaign go live and execute well. So it's got decisioning platforms like your DSPs, SSPs, ad servers, and then you have certain actions, certain matrices that it's following. That, for example, its KPI here would be real-time safety, frequency capping, first party data, how do you manage that, all those things. So everything goes into that bottom technical layer. And when you combine all 3 of these layers, they let AI manage end-to-end planning and execution, including creative generation and reporting. Now, while all of this sounds amazing, because it allows you to build your own systems, it understands everything, it connects everything, the transparency is placed. I'm going to look into this from 2 lenses. One is from why it's good, why it may work, and the other one is why it may not work, because there are a lot of forces at play here. We are not considering everything that can move the industry. We have tried to move the industry earlier. The players involved here who are trying to build the system, they are just too small to make this whole movement happen, and I'll tell you why. So I'll start with why it should work and why it could work as well, because we need it, first of all. And there are a few things that we are going to weigh it against. Like, for example, it solves fragmentation. We have multiple APIs, multiple systems. We are aiming to make a unified system where nothing is fragmented. We have everything connected to each other. We do not have to worry about learning different technologies or their APIs, access, and all those things, right? So that's point number 1, why this is good. The second one is that it's being built on MCP and A2A. So these are the protocols already being used by multi-agent AI systems. And if we can implement those, it will be very easy to just bring in those AI agents. All we have to worry about is all the ad systems, the APIs which are coming from the AdTech environment. Because now one side is sorted, the other side, as soon as we sort it, we just need to connect those, right? So that's also looks like it's very seamless. The third one is that it's a cross-platform automation. So one prompt can launch across channels. So you don't have to worry about every single channel. You just sit here, one dashboard, and you just plug and play whatever you want to do, just a single prompt. And the fourth one is transparency combined with interoperability. So what happens is that it will help you avoid all those vendor lock-ins. You don't have to worry about it because you can just move around. If something is not working, you can just move to the one that is working seamlessly, I would believe. So again, that is another pro with this whole ecosystem, the whole protocol. And then it's very tech friendly. Everything is JSON based, drag and drop. So it's not a huge learning curve for the teams who are going to build these, because it will be easier to learn, it will be easier to understand. Anyone who has built those AI agents, I think even they can build those systems on their own if they have access to the codes, the JSON and anything else that it needs, because it's more like copy paste, drag drop style integration. So these 5 were more tangible ones. The outcomes are very tangible. And after that, we also have some of those non-tangible reasons why they should work. Like for example, OpenRTB has a precedent here because it started very small. Later, it became an industry standard. Even Google chipped in and they just agreed to the whole thing, even though it was smaller. But yeah, it was a movement. And then there is a regulatory tailwind right now because there's a push for transparency across all AdTech players, including Google and Meta. So these are some of the reasons where I think this may work, and actually it should work as well, because my hopes are high, ambitions are higher. But then I have to play the bad cop role as well, because I need to also think about why this can fail, why this may fail, why this might not work. Let's start with adoption, because reality is all the players who are pushing for AdCP, they do not have more than say 5 to 10% of the share of media budget. So they don't have much of a say in whatever goes on, because now we have Google and Meta, which control almost 80% of the budgets. And from the remaining 20%, if you just stick to the programmatic buying, I don't think it's more than say 10%. So that 10% goes to all these players. And when it comes to the push within marketing teams, it's nothing. So if Google and Meta, especially Google, because it's this DSP and SSP led, if Google doesn't come aboard, this whole thing will fall apart. And for Google and Meta, it's not very lucrative because they do not want to give away that control, because as soon as you bring in transparency by launching these open standard protocols, it erodes the control which they have. So they have a commercial disincentive. So why would they do it? That was more from the AdTech side of things. Now move on to the clients, the advertisers, the people who spend money, the CMOs. Do they care about it? No, they do not. They don't care about what goes behind the whole ecosystem, because they are not buying those protocols. They will not spend money because you have a new protocol. They will spend money because now you are delivering performance, you have more volume. So if we can promise that, only then CMOs will chip in, buy in, because they already have some trust issues after the whole cookie is going to die thing, because people ended up spending, convincing CMOs. Trade Desk, it convinced a lot of CMOs, big companies, that why they should be opting into the open ID system because cookies are dying. Nothing happened. Clients, advertisers, they lost money because they just went ahead and tried to do something because someone recommended from the AdTech ecosystem. I don't know if it'll work this time around. And then we have some promises which are coming from the whole narrative behind AdCP, which is that, yeah, it will build your creative as well. It still hallucinates. We do not trust AI to build our creative and just launch it automatically. No, we need a human to keep a check on everything. I don't want 6 fingers in my creative model's hand, right? So these problems, we need to think about those as well, because yeah, you cannot rely on AI to just build a creative and just launch it. It can hallucinate anytime. Then it says it's faster. Faster does not mean better, right? So you are promising speed because of AI. It will do things really quickly. Will it be efficient? We don't know. Will it be better? We don't know. So you cannot go ahead and tell people, oh, it's faster, and assume that they will be convinced to give you more money. No, it has to be better as well. It has to be efficient. And then AdCP also claims that it will auto-optimize the campaigns, so you don't have to worry about anything. What if it misses out on some real-time events, right? Because campaign performance, it's not always patterns, and AI will look at patterns. If the pattern breaks because of any extraordinary event which is happening outside of your control, then AI will make some decision which you never wanted to, which you never intended it to do. For example, there is a terrorist attack in somewhere and you are running those airfare, the flight tickets to that destination. All of a sudden, there is a lot of content talking about that destination. It will start pushing that ad, right? The ad safety, the brand safety, it will be at risk. Then other claim is that, there will be automated reporting, everything will be redundant. There are a lot of tools out there already who are much better than everything that you are trying to do. You cannot sell a new protocol based on that it can do reporting. There are dashboards, you just need to plug and play. They will do everything for you. You're not going to win this based on that, oh, I can do better reporting. What? And then there is a communication gap as well. I have been into programmatic world, and what I've noticed is, because I understand tech, right? So when I talk to the trading team, the programmatic trading team, they do a lot of things. They do a lot of cool things behind the scene, right? The way that they are doing the biddings and optimization and everything. But if you talk that language in front of the marketing team, in front of people like me, journalists, we usually do not care. We care about results. So who will explain these concepts in like very simple terms to the marketeers, the advertisers, so that they know that this is the way it should be? Because it's been like 15 years or so and we still haven't figured out how to explain programmatic to most of our clients. If we are unable to explain programmatic to most of our clients, how exactly are you going to explain AdCP to our clients? And finally, they call it AdCP, Ad Context Protocol. And it's built on MCP. So we are just riding the wave that, it's MCP. So now we have AdCP. There is no context protocol behind AdCP. It's just something, it's a wrapper on top of MCP. It's just using MCP to make things happen. There is no individual CP, the context protocol here. There is no context getting transferred because of AdCP in this case. So the word is wrong. And the better word, the right word here should be AdMCP. It should not be AdCP, it should be AdMCP. So that was the cons, the reason why it may not work, and unfortunately that side is bigger than the pro side. So I am a little doubtful about if this will scale. And while it's an ambitious project, while there's a lot of ambition behind it, there's a lot of hopes. I'm hoping that it works as well, but it probably will not scale. So in that case, we have to find a middle ground. Middle ground is like, it's good for, say, independent DSPs, non-Google, right? Retail media, CTV, contextual networks. They can use it. It's absolutely fine. We just play around with that 10% of the budget I was talking about. Just hope that Google doesn't launch something of its own, because it might do that as well. So the next point is that what will happen in the future? What do we expect from the giants to do after this one? Let me give you an example. Agent Commerce Protocol, ACP, by OpenAI, right? They just launched it in September. Is Google going to follow that? No, they are not going to follow it. They are also launching AP2, APP. So if Google is not following that protocol, what makes you think that they will follow your AdCP? Why can't they just launch their own protocol and say that this is the way it is now? If they are going to control most of the budget, if they have the controlling stake here, they are the monopoly here, what's stopping them from launching something? And in my experience, a lot of times the smaller players, they have tried to fight Google. They have never won. They always lost.
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
And because of this, I have a prediction. I can see things moving in a certain way because that's the historical pattern, the trend. And I can assume that in the short term, it'll be a niche developer adoption where some developers within the AdTech ecosystem, maybe some agencies also, they will start adopting this whole ecosystem, the protocol. After that, the midterm, which is maybe 2 years from now, a year to 2 years, that it's when the AI assistant, they start creating some pressure for standards, because AI, it will start taking over the whole marketing ecosystem, and there will be a pressure on the giant as well. That's where the long-term vision comes into play, the long-term prediction, where the giants, they start chipping in. They do not want to break their walled gardens, so what they will do is they are going to launch something of their own. And what will happen around that time? There'll be again two ecosystems, two worlds. One is the open versus the closed AI agent system for ads. So while I hope the underdog wins here, but there is always a big if. A lot of innovation happen in AdTech world, but unfortunately they just die in presentations and ad conferences. They never see any reality, they never see any execution. And this might happen to AdCP as well, because something similar happened during the wave of blockchain. Everyone was getting into blockchain, everyone was trying to launch something. What happened to that? Every single agency, every single ad network, every single partner which is a part of this AdCP was also trying to get into blockchain. It just died. They just couldn't figure it out because, well, it was never needed. So we have to be careful that do we even need this? And if we need it, can we scale it? If we can, very good. If we cannot, we need to figure out a way to stop or pivot right now. So I hope I clarified most of the things you were confused about when it comes to AdCP. If you did find this video useful, please subscribe, give me a like, it helps. So I'll see you in our next video. Cheers.